take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close, going deeper and deeper, relaxed. Breathing in that feeling of calm and relaxation, and allowing any tension to slowly but surely leave your body, taking you deeper and deeper, relaxed. That's right. And I want you to continue to breathe in and breathe out, noticing that you're breathing in a resourceful feeling of intelligence. Almost that with each and every breath, you're becoming a tiny bit smarter with every breath that you breathe in. And as you breathe out, notice that any stress, any worries, any concerns leave your body, so that as you become smarter, you also simultaneously become more calm, more collected, and feel deeper and deeper relaxed. And I want you to think to a place where there's lots of books, perhaps a bookshelf, or maybe a library, or maybe even somewhere at your school. And I want you to think that somewhere amongst all those books are a selection of children's books. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine looking through those books and seeing a particular book called Matilda. I want you to imagine taking that book from the shelf, finding a comfortable place to sit down, and starting to flick through the pages. And sometimes, when you're reading a book, don't you find that you become lost in the story, almost like you're a character in the book? And as you read about this young girl called Matilda, you start to imagine a small Buckinghamshire village where she lives. Perhaps you can imagine a child of just maybe 4 years old being very, very clever. Perhaps having an insatiable thirst to learn and to read. Perhaps you can observe that she has rude, neglectful parents that don't really care too much for Matilda, but you're interested and impressed by Matilda's sense of confidence and intellectual ability. She seems to be also very, very smart. And I want you to imagine that you get so lost in the story that as Matilda starts school, you can imagine what it would be like if you were starting school at the same time. Perhaps you can imagine being in that same class and having Matilda be in that class as well. You get a sense of how clever Matilda is, how quickly she can answer complex sums, how much knowledge she has about the world. You get a sense that the teacher is very friendly, very happy person, and you also get a sense that the head teacher is very angry, very rude, perhaps a mean person. And I want you to imagine, just for a moment, what it would be like to be inside Matilda's body, thinking how she thinks. I want you to imagine what it would be like to be so smart, to learn things incredibly quickly. Perhaps you can see on a blackboard complex sums, and you just get a sense that you're able to process and understand all of those numbers incredibly quickly. Perhaps if there was a book that needed to be read, you could read that book very quickly and understand everything in that book. I want you to get a sense that a key is unlocking something in your mind, and that those abilities to tap into more of Matilda's brain power are now happening inside your mind. That from this point onwards, you will find it easier and more enjoyable to learn new things. Perhaps there's been times in the past that you found yourself saying, I can't learn that, I'm not very good at that. But now you've unlocked greater powers within your mind, you will start to think that because you can learn so quickly, anything new becomes an opportunity for you to get even better, even smarter, even more knowledgeable. Because with learning, the more you learn, the easier it is to learn even more. And notice that when you're inside Matilda's body, she has an insatiable thirst to learn new things. And I wonder what it would be like for you to have an insatiable thirst to learn new things. If you could learn anything, what would you most want to learn about? Because learning is a stepping stone into creating a future of your choice. All the things that are possible in the world get so much easier when you learn certain key things on the way. Allow your imagination to go on a little adventure as you start thinking about all the things that you could learn. And if you learned those things easily and well, what could you then do with that knowledge or those skills in the future? Allow that thought to plant a seed deep in your mind as to the importance of learning, and how learning is the stepping stone into creating a future, a desirable future, where your dreams can become reality. I want you to imagine that you are now back at your desk, seeing Matilda at hers, only now the teacher in the room is different. Imagine what it would be like to see a mean headmistress at the front of the room, someone that likes dishing out mean rules, perhaps being a grumpy, unhelpful person. And I want you to see that someone else in the room has played a prank on the head teacher by putting in a newt, a tiny creature, in her jug of water. And then want you to see that when it looks like this girl is going to get in trouble for putting the newt in the jug of water, see that Matilda seems to be concentrated, thinking very hard, and then see the jug of water start to float above the head of that grumpy head teacher. And then see this floating jug of water start to tip upside down all over this mean, grumpy head teacher. See the newt perhaps even go down her neck, down her clothes, start to wriggle, and see all the children in the class start to laugh hysterically. But I want you to get a sense of this girl Matilda had extraordinary abilities using her mind, and as miraculous as it may be, to be able to make a jug of water levitate in the air using telekinesis. I want you to imagine that actually what's even more powerful is the quality of determination and concentration. Because both of those things were required in Matilda for her to unlock that superpower. And I want you to think about what superpower you would like to unlock within the capabilities of your mind. If you could have a superhuman ability to have more determination than anyone else, more concentration than anyone else, if you could learn faster than anyone else, which of those skills or superpowers would you most want? And imagine having those superpowers now. Feel them integrating, growing there in your mind, so that whether it's in the next few days or weeks, you will notice that you have this skill or quality in more abundance. And like anything, the more you practice and the more you exercise it, the stronger that ability will become. I want you to imagine that this girl Matilda had her own happy ending. She was able to leave her grumpy family and live with her friendly teacher. And who knows what happened in Matilda's future? You can be sure that with her thirst for knowledge and incredible abilities, she could pursue whatever she wanted to that was important to her. And you are unlocking the same qualities, meaning you will be able to pursue a future that you desire, simply by unlocking a thirst for knowledge and developing these incredible skills and abilities that, with practice, will give you superpowers in the future. In a few moments' time, I want you to imagine that you're just imagining reading a book, and actually, there you are listening to my voice exactly where you are right now. In a few moments' time, I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, and you will awaken feeling confident, feeling smarter, feeling resourceful, feeling optimistic about the future, and enabling superpowers to start to be created within your own mind, giving you the ability to pursue your dreams, ambitions, and aspirations for the future. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.